Hollywood woke up to chaos. It was early Monday morning when the headline broke, 5 bold words flashing across screens everywhere. Jamie Dornan's hidden affair revealed. The internet erupted instantly. Twitter caught fire, tabloids scrambled for exclusive sources, and fan pages went into meltdown. Jamie Dornan, the man long admired for his quiet grace, family devotion, and steady reputation, was suddenly the center of Hollywood's loudest storm. According to a leaked article from a celebrity news outlet, Jamie had been secretly involved with a woman from within the film industry, someone described only as a creative collaborator who shared an unusually deep emotional bond with him. The report claimed that their connection began years earlier, on the set of a small independent film Jamie had produced during a break between major studio projects. She wasn't a co-star or a model, she was a screenwriter, someone he reportedly worked closely with late into the night, exchanging messages about scripts, characters, and life beyond the lens. To most, it sounded harmless. But the tone of the article, and the carefully chosen photos accompanying it, painted a very different picture. There they were, Jamie and the woman in question, sitting together at a quiet cafe in London, leaning close in conversation, their faces lit by laughter. Another shot showed them walking side by side through a park, hands almost brushing. The tabloids didn't need more. They built the rest themselves. Within hours, hashtags exploded. Hashtag Jamie Dornan scandal. Hashtag hidden affair. Hashtag who is she? Speculation ran wild. Some fans defended him fiercely. Jamie would never cheat. He's too grounded. Others were less forgiving. No one's that perfect. Maybe Amelia was right to stay quiet. The woman's identity remained unconfirmed, though amateur detectives claimed to have found her social media profile, a screenwriter with soft brown hair, known for writing emotionally charged, character-driven stories. People connect over art, one fan tweeted, but that's not an affair. Still, the damage was done. Entertainment channels replayed the same few photos again and again, each time with a new narrative. The Secret Life of Jamie Dornan. Double life. Hollywood's gentleman hides an emotional scandal. Inside the affair that shook fans worldwide. As the story spread, both Jamie and his wife, Amelia Warner, remained silent. No denials, no explanations, no public appearances. For some, that silence was proof of guilt. For others, it was dignity. Then came the first eyewitness accounts, whispers from within the industry. A producer who had worked with Jamie described him as distracted but peaceful during recent shoots. He looked lighter, somehow, the source said, like someone who'd been confiding in someone who understood him. Another insider told Entertainment Daily, Jamie's connection with this woman wasn't physical, it was emotional. They talked for hours about everything, life, love, fear. He once told a friend, "She gets me in ways I can't explain." That single quote became fuel for the tabloids. Emotional affair, screamed one headline. Jamie's secret confidant, the woman who stole his peace. But those who truly knew Jamie said it wasn't that simple. He was known for his introspective nature, his tendency to retreat inward when life became overwhelming. He's always been searching for understanding, one of his longtime friends explained. Sometimes that search takes you somewhere unexpected, even dangerous. By midweek, paparazzi surrounded the Dornan home in London. Cameras clicked as Amelia was seen leaving with her sunglasses on, her expression composed but distant. She looked calm, one journalist noted, but heartbreak doesn't always shout. The headlines grew more brutal by the day. Marriage on the rocks? Jamie's secret confession to a friend. Hollywood's favorite gentleman caught in a hidden bond. Even those close to the couple admitted the timing couldn't have been worse. Jamie had just wrapped a major project, and Amelia had been working on a new music score, separate schedules that had already stretched their time apart. This kind of story, one family friend sighed, can break even the strongest people. And Jamie? He's not the kind who fights back with words. He just disappears into silence. Late Thursday night, Jamie was photographed for the first time since the story broke, walking alone through a quiet London street, hood pulled up, head down. No entourage, no smile. Just a man looking exhausted by the noise. Reporters shouted questions, but he didn't answer. He didn't need to. His silence was the story now. Online, one viral post summed up the world's reaction perfectly. He built a career on being private. Now that privacy is gone. Behind the headlines, though, whispers began to shift. Maybe this wasn't an affair at all. Maybe it was something more complicated, a friendship misunderstood, a moment of emotional honesty magnified by fame. Still, the question lingered like smoke over the city. Who was she to Jamie Dornan, and why did their secret connection shake Hollywood to its core? Whatever the truth was, one thing was certain. The man who had once lived untouched by scandal was now facing the biggest test of his life, one that would force him to finally speak, not as a movie star, but as a man with nothing left to hide. By the time the dust settled, Hollywood had already written its own version of the story. To the world, Jamie Dornan was guilty of something, maybe not betrayal, but something just as scandalous, feeling too much. Yet behind the noise, the truth was softer, more complicated, and far more human. A week after the headlines first exploded, Jamie finally broke his silence. He appeared at a film event in Dublin, dressed in black, calm as ever. But there was something different in his demeanor. No smile, no charm, just quiet resolve. When a journalist asked about the hidden affair, the room went silent. Cameras turned, microphones tilted forward. Jamie exhaled slowly. People love to name things they don't understand, he said. What you're calling an affair, I'd call understanding, nothing more. It wasn't defiance, it was exhaustion. A man tired of being misunderstood. He continued, there are moments in life when you meet someone who reminds you who you are. Someone who listens when you've forgotten how to speak. That's all it was. A friendship, but in this business, people see honesty and call it scandal. His words rippled through the audience, half disbelief, half empathy. The quotes spread across social media within minutes. It wasn't an affair, it was understanding. Some mocked him for trying to romanticize boundaries. Others called his response poetic, even brave. But those closest to Jamie knew exactly what he meant. The woman at the center of the controversy was soon identified. Evelyn Clark, a screenwriter who had worked with Jamie on a short film years earlier. She finally issued her own statement, short and elegant. Jamie is a friend and collaborator. We've shared words, not secrets. The rest is fiction. Her words should have ended it. But Hollywood doesn't let stories die easily. In the following days, new sources claimed that Amelia Warner, Jamie's wife, had been deeply hurt by the rumors. Some even suggested she was considering separation. Yet friends of the couple insisted otherwise. Amelia knows her husband, one family insider told Vanity Fair. She's not thrilled about the headlines, of course. But she also knows the difference between love and loneliness. Indeed, Jamie and Amelia had weathered storms before. Rumors about Dakota Johnson, the pressures of fame, the strain of distance. But this time was different. This time, the storm wasn't about anyone else. It was about Jamie himself. His search for connection in a world that often demanded he hide it. A week later, Jamie sat down for an in-depth interview with GQ UK. He didn't dodge the subject. Instead, he leaned into it. Everyone thinks fame makes you feel loved, he said quietly. But more often, it makes you feel invisible. You start craving real conversations. Ones that aren't about work or image or expectation. Evelyn was one of those people who made space for that. And maybe I leaned on it too much. But it wasn't betrayal. It was being human. He paused, then added, I'm not proud of how it looks. But I'm not ashamed of needing connection either. That quote, raw, vulnerable, and unguarded, changed everything. Suddenly, the tone of the coverage shifted. What had started as Jamie Dornan's secret affair became Jamie Dornan opens up about emotional loneliness. Critics who once mocked him began to praise his honesty. Fans who had condemned him started posting messages of support. He's just human like the rest of us. Imagine being judged for needing to talk to someone. Amelia, who had stayed silent throughout the ordeal, was finally photographed with Jamie again, leaving a London cafe hand in hand. Neither looked particularly cheerful, but there was no bitterness either. Just two people, quiet and tired, still walking side by side. A source close to Amelia later revealed, she forgave him long before he ever needed to ask. It wasn't about cheating, it was about forgetting how to communicate. And they're working on that. Jamie, for his part, has since kept his promise to focus more on his family. He turned down several high-profile roles and was spotted taking his daughters to school. In a later interview, when asked what he learned from the entire experience, he smiled faintly. That honesty has a cost, he said. But silence costs more. The hidden affair that had set Hollywood ablaze turned out not to be an affair at all, but a mirror, reflecting the loneliness, pressure, and fragile humanity behind the glamour. As Jamie said in his final statement on the matter, "I think people confuse intimacy with romance. Sometimes the deepest connections are the ones that never cross that line, and maybe that's what scares them." In the end, the scandal that threatened to destroy him only revealed something much deeper, the quiet truth of a man who had spent years pretending to be strong, and finally allowed himself to be seen. And perhaps that's why, long after the headlines faded, one quote from his interview continued to echo online, shared by fans across the world. "The real secret wasn't an affair. It was loneliness, and how we all try to survive it."